234 wins out of 500 runs gives us a win percentage of 46.8%. That's not even breaking even. What conclusion am I supposed to draw from this? Is 4 luck the best luck stat? Have I been building my character wrong this whole time? Or does it just not matter? So luck doesn't matter? Let's take another look. For those who don't know what I'm referring to, make sure to check out part 1 of this series. I put a link down below. But here's a brief summary. I wanted to quantify the effect luck had on gambling in Fallout New Vegas. I went about this by trying 100 spins of roulette on each different luck level, 1 through 10. Then after taking note of all my wins, I was able to compare it against the number of expected wins if the game was not modified. And I came to my conclusion. Obsidian just forgot roulette. There was no increase in win rates as you moved up in the luck levels. In fact, the best luck I had was at luck 4. I didn't originally set out on a mission to disprove some in-game pop-ups and destroy my own sanity, and I actually wanted to get some metrics on how the luck stat affects your casino winnings. So I've decided to run it back. Today, the game of choice is slots. Now it's a good time to mention why I chose roulette in the first place. Roulette is not just some idea cooked up by the minds of the developers at Obsidian, but it's a very widespread gambling game found in just about every casino. Due to its popularity, some people were able to do the math and figure out the expected win rate if you were to play the game forever with infinite money and just let the averages take over. I was able to take this real-world expected win percentage and compare it against my actual win percentage to try to quantify just what the luck stat was doing under the hood. Things get a lot murkier, however, when you're dealing with slots. Slots have a similar concept known as a payout percentage. The same basic idea applies, in that if you played for an infinite amount of time with an infinite amount of money, how much would you make, or more realistically, how much would you lose in that the casino makes? The problem, however, is that the payout percentage is not standardized, and it can vary widely from country to country, state to state, city to city, casino to casino. 2 slot machines sitting directly next to each other can have completely different payout percentages. These payout percentages are hard-coded into the slot itself, and there's a lot of gamemanship on where you set up your quote-unquote looser slots that end up paying out more. All this is to say, it's really hard to get a real-world metric to compare the New Vegas machines against. The casinos in real-world Las Vegas do have to report their yearly earnings by category, so it is possible to get the average payout percentage for the various casinos in Southern Nevada to try and ground our metrics somewhere. On average, a casino in Vegas has a payout percentage around 90%. The worst place to gamble is actually the McCarran Airport, which hovers around 85%. We can set a ground floor of 75%, which is the minimum for a single slot machine as declared by the Nevada Gaming Commission. There are stories of slots and bars and rest stops having percentages around 50%, and in theory, you could set the payout percentage all the way down to 1% if you'd like, but no one would pay and you wouldn't really make any money. We can take this info, throw it into our plot, and we're all ready to hit the tops. Before we get rolling, it's a good idea for me to explain how slot machines work, as it's the exact same in both the real world and the game. When you pull the lever in the casino or press W to place your bet, the second you do, the computer creates a random number. This process is known as RNG, or random number generation. It's actually a really cool process in and of itself, and I'd love to flesh it out in another video. It takes this random number and puts it on a pay table with a massive list of possibilities. For example, a 1 to 10 could be a loss, 11 to 5, you win $1, 16 to 18, 5, and 19's a million. The slot then works backwards from this reward to build all the fun lights and colors that'll eventually get you to your winnings. The way that these odds can be modified is by changing that pay table. What I'm hoping is as we come along, the pay table will start to shift as we go up in the luck levels. More numbers will become winners, and more winners will pay out more money. Just as before, we're starting out with 1 luck, and away we go. The way that this and many other basic slot machines work is there's 3 reels of symbols. Place a bet, the reels spin, and eventually they come to a stop. If you have 3 of the same symbol across the center line, you win whatever they're worth. With the small exception being cherries, where just 1 cherry on that single line's a win. A small win, but still a win. After 100 spins, the only wins we saw were due to these cherries, and we had a pretty bad day. We ended up down 52 caps, which means we won 48 caps, giving us a win percentage of 48. That's pretty rough by every standard, and you're only really going to see win rates like that in the sleaziest of establishments. This is actually incredibly promising for the purpose of this experiment. I don't think my heart could take another luck 1 win. Moving on to 2 luck started to give me some intense flashbacks, however, as we took a dive. Luck 2 ended up being worse than luck 1 as we walked away down 58 caps. which is 6 caps worse than luck 1. This is not a major drop, and it's definitely within the bounds of real world luck. As we move on to luck 3, however, I'm really hoping to see a good uptick, or I might start to get a little stressed. Unfortunately, however, no uptick was anywhere to be found. In fact, we ended up getting the exact same as we did with 2 luck, down 58. This brings us to the same 42% win percentage. Not great. We're still yet to see a real win that's not just getting bailed out by cherries. We did get a double cherry, which pays out 5 caps. Or 6. Small tangent. The payout for the slots in this game are clearly displayed, but they're kind of misleading if you're familiar with real slots. You see, in the real world, you place a bet to spin the slot, which means you spend $1 up front, and if you win $5, you get that $5 back at the end. At the end of the day, you'll have $4 more than when you started. In New Vegas, you only lose 1 cap if you don't win at the slot, so if you win, you technically never place the bet, and you leave a true 5 caps up. The difference was just more so confusing for the math, because after 100 spins, we technically didn't spend 100 caps, as a win results in you not losing a cap up front. So for the math to be simpler, I just added 1 cap to all the wins, and everything sorted itself out. With that little sidebar out of the way, I guess there's nothing to do but push forward. As we step into the middle third of the luck stat, things finally took a turn for the better, and in a big way. With the luck stat of 4, we ended up only down 29 caps. Don't get me wrong, we're still a big loser, but things are starting to get a little bit more in line with reality. A loss of 29 gives us a winning percentage around 71%. Now, that's still technically legal in Nevada, but I wouldn't put it past some slightly reformed tribals to look past some old world regulations. Also, if we're considering luck 5 to be the standard for a normal human being, a couple percentage off sounds about right. I'm sure that luck 5 will bring us right in line with the real world, and surprisingly, it didn't. Luck 5 takes us back into some pretty rough waters. It's not as bad as we may have become used to with lucks 1, 2, 3, but we ended up with a strong negative 37 cap profit, giving us a nice 63% win percentage. We're only halfway through, and we're yet to see any real wins greater than double cherries, but this is a good stopping point to take a step back and reflect on our journey. On this graph, you can see our luck percentages are mapped out on this nice blue line. The red line represents the Nevada minimum of 75%, and that yellow line brings you up to the average of 90% for a Las Vegas casino. It doesn't take that long of a look to see that things are not going too well for our unlucky courier. With 5 rounds of 100 spins a pop, that gives us 500 data points, and we're yet to even sniff the Vegas average, and we're well below the state minimum most of the time. And honestly, I could not be happier to see those results. With luck under 5, I'm praying for no wins. I was actively rooting for losses, and any wins were kind of a big hit. I was expecting to get closer to the average with a luck of 5, but I can definitely see a real world in which me as a human being just got unlucky. It's also pretty promising that lucks 1, 2, and 3 were just so consistently bad. I wonder if they're grouped together in their own category for things like this, titled Bad Day or something. I think we can pretty confidently say that with luck 5 and under, you gotta stay away from the slots, no matter how fun those lights and colors might be. But the real question becomes, when should you go to the slots? Is there a minimum luck from 6 to 10 where you start to rake in the big winnings? And if so, where exactly is it? The only way to find out is to keep pushing forward, and on to luck 6 we go. Actually, this time, hoping to walk away with a profit. And my hopes were finally rewarded, as for the first time today, we leave with a little bit more caps in our pocket than we walked in. Luck 6 brings us our first true profit of 13 caps, and we finally saw a win that wasn't some lousy cherries. A winning percentage of 113% is not an insane figure for someone's weekend trip to Vegas. They just have to have slightly more luck than the average person. 6 luck. Now it's time to bump up that luck stat 1 tick higher and take on the world with 7 luck. And as we started to get rolling, we really got rolling. Luck 7 was a monster. We ended up 69 caps out of 100 spins, and it turned out to be a massive improvement from our last round. With 2 big winners back to back, I think we're pretty much in the clear for now. And it appears as though I might have spoken a little too soon. Luck 8 was not great. It wasn't bad, we still left with a profit. But the 13 more caps we had was not nearly as exciting as the 69 we left with last time. It is interesting that a luck as high as 8 is not immune to a little bit of real-world misfortune. I'm pretty confident saying that luck of 8 was a fluke, as 9 brought us right back onto the winning train. With a winning percentage of 280%, it's not really that fair anymore. But before we can wrap up everything and take a good look at the data, we do need to run luck of 10, which didn't end up actually being that great, all things considered. We ended up only up 112 caps. It's still technically a winner, and not really a bad one at that, but the craziness that was 9 luck really got my hopes up. Now that we have all of our data points, we'd start to look through them a little bit more closely and as a whole. I put the new metrics on the same plot we saw before, and we can clearly see that things become a whole lot nicer as soon as you jump above 5 luck. Luck 8 and 10 are pretty obvious outliers, so I'm going to rip them out and look at the results without them. And the results are really cool. By adding a trend line, we can see that there's a fairly clear impact that luck has on your gambling. Looking at this data was interesting and actually changed some preconceived notions I had regarding the luck in this game. I always was a little too scared to walk into the casinos if I had luck below like an 8. I thought that you really only noticed the true benefits around those really high marks. But it looks like if your luck stat's as low as 6, it's enough to turn the tides in your favor. So next time you're building a character, all you care about is making some extra money in the casino. Don't throw all your special points into luck. Save them for some truly important stats like charisma. I just want to say thank you guys for all the support on the first video. These two took a very long time to make. Spinning the slot and that roulette wheel 1,000 times is not a quick process. I was thinking about working on a part 3 with blackjack, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. That one's going to be a much bigger undertaking due to all the choices you have to make in that game. And I'm going to have to be on my ball to play perfect strategy all the way through. So like this video if you think that'd be something you want me to take on, and subscribe so you won't miss it. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.